The blackness of space stretched endlessly in all directions. No stars shone bright here. No planets, no asteroids. Only a cold emptiness that seemed to swallow sound, light, and even time itself. In that emptiness, something moved, a shape. Dark, massive, and silent, drifted on the edge of sensor range. It did not send any communication signal. It did not give off the usual energy signature of an active ship. It looked dead. Yet it was moving. On board the alien flagship Warship, Captain Vorak sat in his command chair, long fingers tapping against the armrest. His crew, tall insectoid beings with glowing eyes, worked quietly at their stations. Their antennae twitched every few seconds, a sign of curiosity and caution. "Report," Vorak said, his deep voice echoing in the command deck. "Unidentified contact detected, Captain," replied the sensor officer. "Distance, 1.8 million kilometers, size very large. Possibly a carrier or a super dreadnought. No power. Readings, no identification code." Vorak's mandibles clicked softly. "A ghost ship?" he asked, his tone half amused. "Unknown, sir. It is strange. Our scans return almost nothing. The surface reflects no standard frequencies. It is as if it is not there." The captain leaned forward. "Not there? And yet you can see it?" "Yes, sir. Visually it is there. But the sensors, they do not like it." From the side of the deck, the fleet's artificial intelligence core, a hovering silver sphere with shifting lights, spoke for the first time. "Recommendation: avoid engagement. Unknown contact presents high potential risk. Hull composition undetectable. Energy readings undetectable. Probability of advanced technology 92%. Vorak's mandibles curled into what humans might call a smile. "You think it is dangerous, aye?" "Yes, Captain." "Good. That means it will be valuable if we capture it." The AI's lights dimmed slightly, almost. Like a sigh, the alien fleet adjusted course. 8 heavy cruisers, 4 frigates, and 1 massive flagship began to glide toward the dark shape. Their drives hummed softly, pushing them through the silent void. Inside the Warship, crew members exchanged nervous glances. There were old stories about ships that appeared in deep space without warning, ships that were not from any known empire, ships that could destroy fleets without firing a shot. But those were just myths, weren't they? The object grew larger on the main view screen. It was long and angular, with sharp edges and strange armor plating that seemed to absorb light. No running lights were visible, no engine glow, no movement except for its slow drift. "Bring us within 200,000 kilometers, Vorak ordered. "I want to see every detail." On board the human warship Titan's Wrath, Captain Zara stood in the shadows of her bridge, watching the alien fleet approach. Her crew worked in silence. No one shouted, no alarm sounded. The ship remained in silent mode, its main power hidden, its weapons cold, its engines running at the lowest possible signature. "They're curious," her first officer, Commander Hayes, said quietly. "Let them be," Zara replied. "The closer they come, the more certain they'll be that they have the advantage." "And when they're certain?" Hayes asked. Zara's lips curved into a faint smile. "Then we show them they don't." On the tactical display, red icons representing the alien ships crept closer. Their formation was tight, disciplined. The flagship led from the center, flanked by cruisers. Smaller ships hovered on the edges like watchful predators. "Distance to enemy fleet, 500,000 kilometers, the navigation officer whispered. "Maintain silent mode," Zara said. "They must not know what we are." Back on the alien flagship, the fleet closed the gap. "Captain, we are within visual range," the helmsman said. The dark shape of the human warship now filled the view screen. Its hull was a matte black, almost like stone. No markings, no lights, no visible weapons. "Strange design," Vorak murmured. It does not look like any warship I have seen. It does not look alive at all, one of his officers added. The AI spoke again. Warning. Target's hull density exceeds known material limits. Recommend retreat. Vurak ignored it. Begin energy. Scans. The scanning beams lanced out from the alien ships, invisible to the eye, but powerful in effect. They hit the human warship and disappeared. The readings came back blank. Impossible, the sensor officer muttered. It's as if our scans are being eaten. Keep scanning, Vurak said. Captain. The officer hesitated. Something else. I think it's scanning us back. Vurak's antennae twitched. What? I'm picking up faint, unknown signals. Very precise. Very slow. There. Mapping us. The AI's voice cut in again. Confirmation. Our systems are being probed. Source. Unidentified contact. Probability of advanced hacking attempt. 78% and rising. Vurak waved a claw dismissively, then increased security. We are not going to be outdone by some derelict. Inside the Titan's Wrath, Commander Hayes reported softly, we've completed a full scan. Their weapons are standard plasma cannons, railgun batteries, and missile pods. Shields are average. Engines are fast but not beyond our own. Fleet discipline is high, but they're predictable. Any sign they know what we are? Zara asked. None, Captain. They think we're just a strange hunk of metal. Good. She looked at the display, her eyes cold. Mark every ship in their formation. When the order comes, I want them all in range. Aye, Captain. At 200,000 kilometers, the alien fleet stopped. They're holding position, the navigation officer said. Probably deciding whether to board us. Commander Hayes guessed dot on the alien flagship. Vurak was indeed thinking of boarding. A strange, silent ship like this could be a treasure. New technology, unknown weapons, maybe even something to give his empire an edge against its rivals. He turned to his AI. Begin preparations for boarding craft. The AI's lights flickered. Rapidly. Captain, this course of action is dangerous. The unknown contact has not moved or responded, which suggests deliberate control. Its silence may be a trap. Then we will spring it, Vurak said with a grin. Inside the human ship, a quiet alert lit up on Zara's console. They're preparing boarding craft, Hayes said. Zara nodded. Good. That means they'll come even closer. Do we stop them? Not yet. Let them think they're in control. Her voice was calm, but inside she was calculating every second, every movement. The alien fleet thought they were the hunters. But they had just stepped into a cage. Minutes passed in silence. The alien fleet began to move again, creeping forward until the Titan's Wrath filled their view screens completely. The ship was enormous, nearly twice the length of their flagship. Its surface was covered in strange segmented armor plates, each one slightly curved, like scales. No seams or weapon ports were visible. It looked ancient, but also dangerous. Boarding craft ready, the alien operations officer said. Vurak raised a claw to give the order. Then the AI spoke again, louder this time. Warning, massive energy spike detected from unidentified contact. On the alien screens, the black surface of the human warship shimmered faintly, as if something beneath it was waking up. Vurak froze. What is that? Before anyone could answer, the Titan's Wrath lit up with power. Lines of pale blue light ran along its hull, forming sharp geometric patterns. Hidden ports slid open, revealing weapons unlike anything the aliens had seen. Long barrels of unknown metal, glowing softly at the edges. Inside the human ship, Zara stood straight and spoke two quiet words. Power up. The bridge hummed as the ship's reactors came online. Shields flared to life, invisible but deadly. Weapon systems locked onto the alien ships in perfect silence. Hayes glanced at his captain. Do we speak to them? Zara shook her head. No, let our ship be the message. On the alien flagship, chaos erupted. Multiple weapon locks detected. Unknown energy readings off the charts. Our shields are being targeted. Captain, the AI interrupted, its voice almost sharp. Recommendation, immediate retreat. Probability of survival if engaged, less than 4%. Vurak's mandibles tightened. His pride told him to fight. His instincts told him to run. Captain, the helm officer said nervously. They're aiming at us. Vurak turned his gaze to the massive black warship filling his view. It had been silent before. Dead, even. Now it looked alive. And very, very awake. The void between the two fleets felt heavy, almost alive. The alien ships floated in a careful formation, weapons armed but not yet firing. The Titan's Wrath stood alone, its black armor glowing faintly with blue lines, its weapons now visible. For the first time, on the alien flagship Warship, Captain Vurak gripped the armrests of his chair. He could feel the eyes of his crew on him. They wanted orders, attack or retreat. The AI core still hovered silently in the center of the deck, its lights pulsing in warning. Captain, the tactical officer said in a strained voice, we have full weapon locks from the unknown ship. They are holding fire. Shall we fire first? Vurak interrupted sharply. If they want a fight, we give it to them. Sir, the AI recommends. I don't care what the AI recommends. Vurak snapped. His pride burned. No strange, silent vessel was going to intimidate the fleet of the Gorthan Empire inside the Titan's Wrath. Captain Zara stood with her arms behind her back. Report, she said quietly. All weapon systems online. Shields at full. Target locks. On all enemy vessels are solid, Commander Hayes replied. Have they fired yet? Not yet, Captain. But they're charging their plasma cannons. They'll shoot any second now. Zara's eyes didn't leave the tactical display. Let them. I want to see how confident they really are. On the Warship, Vurak gave the order. All ships fire at will. A heartbeat later, the alien fleet lit up the darkness. Bright streams of green plasma burst from their cannons, racing across space toward the Titan's Wrath. Dozens of shots, perfectly aimed. Closed the distance in seconds. The alien crew watched with satisfaction until the shots hit. Instead of exploding against the human warship, the plasma blasts disappeared the moment they touched the glowing blue lines on its armor. No fire, no smoke. No damage, direct hits registered. But no effect, the alien weapons officer said in disbelief. Vurak's antennae twitched sharply. No effect? Impossible. Fire again. More shots followed. Plasma, railgun slugs, even high-yield missiles. Every single weapon was absorbed by the human ship's strange shield, vanishing as if swallowed by the void itself. Captain, I think they're absorbing our attacks, the sensor officer said, his voice trembling. On the Titan's Wrath, the bridge was calm. The alien plasma lit up the shields like fireworks, but none of it even shook the ship. They're giving us everything they've got, Hayes said with a faint smile. How are the shields? Zara asked, unaffected. Energy absorption at 12%. We can keep this up forever. Zara gave a small nod. Time to respond. She turned to the gunnery chief. Target their lead cruiser. One shot. The chief's hands moved over the controls. Locked. Fire. The Titan's Wrath shuddered slightly as one of its main forward cannons discharged. A beam of pure white energy shot out, narrow and impossibly fast. It hit the alien cruiser square in the middle, and in the blink of an eye, the ship was gone. No explosion, no debris, just empty space where a warship had been seconds earlier. On the alien flagship, silence fell across the bridge. Every crew member stared at the empty spot on the view screen. Where did it go? The navigation officer whispered. The sensor officer's hands shook over his console. No debris detected, no life signs, no, nothing. It was erased. The eye said in its cold mechanical tone, probability 100%. Unknown weapon capability. Estimated power output, beyond measurable scale. Vorak's mandibles clicked rapidly in alarm, though he tried to hide it. All ships, evasive maneuvers, spread out. The alien formation broke apart, ships darting away in all directions. But almost immediately the helmsman shouted, "Captain! Our FTL drives are offline." Vorak turned sharply. "What do you mean offline? They've been disabled. Power drain detected. I can't restart them." The AI confirmed it. Source: unknown contact. The enemy has accessed our systems remotely. Hacked? Vorak roared. "We have the best cyber defense in the sector." "Not anymore," the AI replied. Inside the Titan's wrath, Commander Hayes looked up from his console. "FTL drives on all enemy ships are disabled." "They're not going anywhere." "Good," Zara said calmly. "Begin marking secondary targets. We'll let them sweat for a minute before we finish the demonstration." On the alien ships, panic spread quickly. Without faster-than-light travel, they were trapped. Sun tried to fire again, but their targeting systems glitched, refusing to lock onto the human warship. Others attempted to call for reinforcements, but their comms were silent. "Captain," the comms officer said in shock, "we can't send any signals. The network is jammed." "By them?" Vorak asked, though he already knew the answer. "Yes, by them." Vorak gritted his teeth. He had underestimated the humans, badly. They hadn't just brought a powerful warship. They had brought a weapon that could erase ships instantly, shields that absorbed all damage, and hacking abilities that crippled entire fleets. And they weren't even speaking. The silence was worse than taunts or threats. It was as if the Titans' wrath wanted them to understand, "You are powerless." Vorak's pride fought against his fear. He wasn't ready to surrender, not yet. "All ships," he said into the fleet channel, "prepare for a concentrated attack on their bridge section. If we can disable their command." But the AI interrupted. "Captain, any concentrated attack will be intercepted. Probability of survival, 0%. Vorak's claws tightened on his chair. "Then what do you suggest, machine?" The IS lights pulsed slowly. "Suggest surrender." Inside the Titan's wrath, Zara stood perfectly still, her voice calm. "Open a channel," she said finally. Hayes raised an eyebrow. "You're going to talk to them now?" "Yes, they've had their warning. Time to see if they're smart enough to listen." The channel opened, and Zara's voice echoed across the alien fleet. "This is Captain Zara of the United Earthship Titans. Wrath, you have entered human territory without permission. You have attacked without provocation. You will now power down all weapons and prepare to be boarded. Failure to comply will result in your immediate destruction." Her words were simple, direct, deadly. On the alien flagship, every crew member froze. They had expected a monstrous roar or alien growl, not a calm, measured human voice. And yet, the tone carried more danger than any threat they had heard before. Vorak hesitated. His empire had never surrendered to anyone. But this wasn't a battle anymore. It was an execution waiting to happen. Before he could answer, one of the smaller alien frigates broke formation and fired at the Titan's wrath. On the human ship, the beam weapons flared instantly. A single shot erased the frigate from existence. Just like the cruiser before, Zara's voice returned to the open channel. "That was your last warning." Every alien ship went silent. No one fired again. Vorak finally spoke into the comm. "This is Captain Vorak of the Gorthan Empire. We will comply." Zara's lips curved slightly. Wise choice. She cut the channel and turned to Hayes. "Prepare boarding teams." Hayes grinned. "With pleasure." The black boarding pods streaked through the void like arrows of shadow, each one aimed at an alien ship. They moved with terrifying precision, no wasted motion, No hesitation, as if guided by something more than a pilot's hands. On the alien flagship Warship, alarms blared. Incoming craft. The tactical officer shouted. "They're too fast," yelled the helmsman. "Our point defense turrets can't track them." Vurak stood from his command chair, his antennae stiff with tension. "All ships, destroy those pods before they reach you." Weapons across the alien fleet opened fire, but the pods danced between. The blasts, twisting and weaving with impossible agility. The AI spoke in its cold, steady voice. "Probability of successful interception, less than 2%. Boarding is imminent." On board the Titan's Wrath, Captain Zara watched the progress of her boarding teams. The pods carried elite human Marines, soldiers trained for zero-gravity combat, equipped with powered armor that could function in the cold of space or the chaos of enemy decks. "Pod 1, approaching alien flagship hull," reported Commander. "Hayes, status of enemy weapons?" Zara asked. "Still firing, Captain, but they can't touch us." "Good. Tell the teams to proceed." The first boarding pod hit the Warship with a heavy metallic clang. Instead of docking clamps, it fired cutting beams. Straight into the alien hull, slicing through armor in seconds. A circular section of metal fell away, and the pod extended a dark tunnel into the gap. From inside, human Marines emerged, tall, armored figures with black visors that reflected no light. Their movements were smooth, controlled, like predators, stepping into their hunting ground. Alien crew members who had rushed to the breach froze in shock. They had expected clumsy invaders vulnerable to counterattack. Instead, they saw warriors whose armor seemed to merge with the shadows. Each step measured and silent. The first Marine raised a hand. A flash of light, and the aliens' weapons fell from their claws, disabled by an electromagnetic pulse. No shots fired, no blood. Just quiet, controlled domination. The alien soldiers tried to regroup, but their comm systems were dead. Their ship's lighting flickered, and every console they touched refused to respond. Vurak watched the security. "Feed on the bridge. How are they already inside?" he demanded. The security chief replied, "They cut through the hull like it was nothing. Our internal defenses won't." The feed went black. "Won't hold," the chief finished quietly. I turned its glowing eye toward Vurak. "They are not here to destroy you, Captain. They are here to take you." On the Titan's Wrath, Zara received the update. Pod 1 reports. Flagship breach complete. Resistance minimal. They are advancing to the bridge. Tell them to keep casualties to 0, Zara said firmly. Hayes looked over. 0? That's a tall order in enemy territory. Zara's eyes stayed on the tactical map. "They need to understand we could kill them any time we want, but we choose not to. Fear works best when it's mixed with confusion." Inside the Warship, the Marines moved like a wave of shadows through the corridors. They ignored small pockets of resistance, simply disabling weapons and moving on. Each alien soldier they encountered ended up alive, but powerless, their weapons fried and their comms dead. Finally, the bridge doors loomed ahead. The lead Marine placed a small device against the door. It hummed for 3 seconds, and the massive blast doors slid open without resistance. Vurak rose to his full height as the human stepped onto his bridge. For a moment, no one moved. The alien officers stared at the humans, their insectoid faces unreadable. The humans stared back through black visors, their weapons held ready but not raised. Then one of them stepped forward and pressed a button on their helmet. The visor faded to clear, revealing the human face, pale, calm, and utterly without fear. "Captain, Zara sends her regards," the Marine said in a voice that carried easily across the room. Vurak's mandibles twitched. "She sends regards? Is this a joke?" The Marine tilted his head slightly. "No joke. You will come with us." "You think I will surrender my ship so easily?" Vurak asked, his voice sharp. The Marine didn't answer. Instead, he turned his head toward the viewscreen, where outside, the rest of the alien fleet was now surrounded by more human ships. Vorak froze. Where did those come from? The Marine simply said, "They were always here." Back on the Titan's Wrath, Hayes reported, "Secondary human fleet has completed arrival. No enemy movement detected." "I think they're too stunned to even try," Zara nodded. "Exactly as planned." "Planned?" Hayes asked. "Did you think we just stumbled on this fleet by accident? We've been watching them for weeks. They're a probe. A test from their empire to see what we're capable of. Now we're showing them the answer." On the alien bridge, Vorak's second officer whispered urgently, "Captain, there is no escape. The humans have trapped the entire fleet." Vorak's eyes darted to the tactical display. It was true. Their ships were surrounded in every direction, with human warships blocking every possible retreat vector. That it wasn't a random skirmish. It was a trap, perfectly laid, perfectly executed. Vorak's pride wanted to resist, fight until the last ship. But his instinct screamed that fighting now would mean instant destruction. The humans hadn't destroyed his ship yet. Perhaps there was a reason. He turned to the Marine leader. "What happens if I refuse?" The Marine looked him straight in the eye. "Then you vanish, like the cruiser and frigate that fired on us. No debris, no trace, no second chance." Vorak's claws tightened, the weight of the decision pressing down on him. If he surrendered, he might live, but his empire would see it as weakness. If he fought, he would die, and his empire would lose an entire fleet. The Marine waited patiently. No threats, no shouting. Just quiet certainty. Finally, Vorak spoke. "I will go with you." The Marine pressed a control on his wrist. "Captain, package secured," he said into his com. On the Titan's Wrath, Zara heard the report. "Bring him aboard," she replied as the Marines escorted Vorak through the corridors of his own ship. He noticed something unsettling. The humans didn't walk like soldiers who had just won a battle. They walked like soldiers who had known they would win before the battle even started. Every step, every movement, controlled, confident, inevitable. And Vorak realized something chilling. The humans hadn't just beaten his fleet. They had played with it. When he stepped into the boarding pod, he glanced back at the Warship. His crew stood frozen at their stations, watching him go. He wanted to shout orders, to tell them to fight. But the words died in his throat. The pod sealed shut. Minutes later, Vorak was standing on the bridge of the Titan's Wrath. The human captain was there, shorter than he expected, but with eyes that held the calm focus of a predator. "Captain Vorak," she said evenly, "welcome aboard. You have me. What now?" he asked. "Now," Zara replied, "you're going to tell me why your empire sent a fleet into human space." Vorak's mandibles shifted in surprise. "You think I will just tell you?" "You will," Zara said, "because you know what will happen if you don't." Behind her, the viewscreen shifted to show the alien fleet, still surrounded, still motionless. In the far corner of the image, one of the human warships turned slightly, its weapons glowing faintly. Vorak swallowed hard. He understood. Captain Zara stood tall on the bridge of the Titan's Wrath. Her dark eyes never left Captain Vorak's face. The alien leader, still in his strange insect-like armor, seemed uneasy. For the first time, he was no longer the hunter, but the hunted. Bridge was quiet except for the low hum of the ship's systems. The viewscreens around them showed the captured alien fleet, motionless and powerless, surrounded by human warships. Zara's voice was calm but firm. "You came into our space uninvited. You attacked without warning. Now you will answer for your actions." Vorak's antennae twitched nervously. His mandibles opened slightly, showing hesitation. "I am a captain of the Gorthan Empire. We claim this space. You are trespassing." Zara smiled coldly. "No, this is human space. We protect what is ours." Behind Vurak, human marines stood ready but relaxed. They had the upper hand, and they knew it. Vurak looked around the bridge of the human warship. Everything was unfamiliar. The walls were sleek and dark, lit with soft blue lights. The control panels glowed with symbols he could not read. "How do you have such power?" he asked quietly. "Your weapons, your shields, your ships." Zara took a step forward. "We have worked hard to protect Earth and our allies. Our technology is advanced because we fight to survive." Vurak's gaze dropped. He was a proud warrior, but now he felt small. "Your empire must not make the same mistake," Zara said. "You underestimated us. You thought we were weak, but we are not." Suddenly, an alert sounded softly on Zara's console. She glanced at it and frowned. "Report," she said. Commander Hayes turned to her. "There is an incoming message from the Galactic Council. They want to speak with us." Zara nodded. "Open the channel." A shimmering hologram appeared in the center of the room. A tall alien with gray skin and glowing eyes appeared. It was Ambassador Trell, a member of the Galactic Council. "Captain Zara and Captain Vurak," Trell said. "The Council has watched this conflict with great concern. Your fleets have disrupted the fragile peace of this region." Zara held her ground. "They entered human space without permission and attacked first." Trell's eyes narrowed. "The Council asks that you cease hostilities. We propose a meeting to discuss terms." Vurak growled softly. "Terms? You speak to me like I am a child." Trell raised a hand. "You will speak to the Council as equals, Captain. Or you risk war." Zara exchanged a quick glance with Hayes. "We accept," she said. "But only if the Gorthan Empire agrees to leave human space immediately." Vurak hesitated. He knew the Council's power, but he also knew the pride of his people. "Very well," he said. "I will relay the message." The hologram faded. Zara turned back to Vurak. "You will be our guest until the meeting. You will answer all questions." "Honestly," Vurak nodded slowly, "I will." Later, in a secure room below the bridge, Zara and Vurak sat across from each other. The tension was thick. "Why did your empire send a fleet into human space?" Zara asked. Vurak sighed. "Our empire seeks to expand. We believe the humans are a threat. We wanted to test your strength." "And what did you find?" Zara asked. "That you are stronger than we imagined," he admitted. "Your technology, your tactics. Unlike anything we have faced." Zara leaned in. "Then why risk a full attack?" "Because we feared weakness would invite destruction," Vurak replied. "We wanted to show strength before you grew stronger." Zara shook her head. "You made a mistake." Meanwhile, the alien fleet outside remained silent. Their ships were damaged, but repair teams worked quickly. They watched the humans carefully on the Titan's Wrath. Engineers monitored the fleet's status. "Repairs are underway," one engineer said. "But the humans' control over their systems is strong." Zara nodded. "We will allow them time to repair, but no more." Back in the meeting room, Zara studied Vurak carefully. "If your empire comes back to human space, there will be consequences," she warned. Vurak met her gaze. "I understand. But my people will not easily back down." Zara's voice was steady. "Neither will we." Suddenly, the ship shuddered. "Report." Zara ordered. "Unknown object detected on approach," the sensor officer said. Everyone rushed to the view screens. A massive shape appeared, larger than any alien ship they had seen. Zara's eyes narrowed. "Prepare for contact. This is no simple rescue fleet." Vurak's mandibles twitched nervously. "This changes everything," he said. The massive ship loomed closer, its dark hull cutting through the stars. It was unlike any ship Captain Zara or Vurak had ever seen. Its surface was covered in strange symbols that pulsed with energy. Weapons larger than the alien cruisers lined its sides. On the bridge of the Titan's Wrath, the crew was tense. Captain Zara stood, watching the viewscreen with steady eyes. "Identify that ship," she ordered. The sensor officer's fingers flew over the console. "Unknown origin, Captain. No records in any database. Energy readings are off the charts. It's moving at sublight speed, but with immense power." Vurak, standing beside her, was silent. His pride battled with fear. This new presence was a game-changer. The new ship stopped just outside the human fleet's perimeter. A deep voice suddenly echoed in every ship's comm system. "This is Commander Zelvar of the Zephyr Dominion," it said. "You have entered forbidden space. State your intentions." Zara met Vurak's eyes. "We came to protect human space. We do not seek war, but will defend ourselves." Vurak nodded reluctantly. "And I am Captain Vurak of the Gorthan Empire. We seek peace after our mistake." Zelvar's voice was cold. "Mistakes are costly here. You have 24 hours to leave this system, or face destruction." Zara turned to her officers. "We need to prepare for battle, but avoid conflict if possible. I want diplomatic channels open." Vurak's antennae twitched. "I will send a message to my empire. They need to know about this dominion." Zara nodded. "Good, we must stand united." Meanwhile, on the alien fleet, repairs were rushed. The crews worked with grim determination. Their ships were weak, but their spirits were not broken. "We cannot allow the humans or this dominion to dominate," Vurak thought. "We must make a choice." In the war room of the Titan's Wrath, Zara and her commanders planned. "We face a new enemy," Zara sighed. "But we also face the question, do we fight alone or form alliances?" Commander Hayes spoke up. "If the Gorthan Empire joins us, we have strength. But can we trust them?" Zara looked at Vurak. "Trust is earned. But right now, survival is the priority." Vurak met with his officers in a private chamber. "The humans are strong," he said. "But this dominion is a greater threat. We must choose, fight together or perish alone." His officers murmured in agreement, but feared the unknown. Back on the Titan's Wrath, Zara opened the communication channel again. "Commander Jalvar," she said, "we do not want war. Let us find a way to coexist." "The Dominion commanders." Voice was icy. "You have one chance." Tensions grew as hours passed. The two fleets watched the massive Dominion ship, waiting for the next move. Zara walked the ship's corridors, thinking. She knew the coming decision would change everything. Suddenly, an alarm blared. Multiple ships detected moving toward U.S. The tactical officer shouted. The Dominion fleet was arriving. The alien and human fleets moved quickly to meet the new threat. Old enemies now stood side by side. "Prepare for battle," Zara ordered. "But remember, today we fight. Not as enemies, but as survivors." The clash was about to begin. The silence before the battle was thick. Captain Zara stood on the bridge of the Titan's Wrath, her eyes fixed on the glowing enemy fleet before her. Beside her, Captain Vurak of the Gorthan Empire watched with tense anticipation. They had formed an uneasy alliance born of necessity against a far greater threat, the Zephyr Dominion. "Ready the weapons," Zara ordered. Her voice was steady but carried the weight of what was to come. The ships around them hummed with power, their crews prepared for combat. This was no simple battle. It was a fight for survival, for the future of their peoples. The Dominion fleet advanced, sleek and powerful. Their ships were larger than any human or Gorthan warship, bristling with strange weaponry that pulsed with deadly energy. Commander Zelvar's voice echoed through the comms, cold and commanding. "You will fall before the Zephyr Dominion. Surrender now, or be destroyed." Zara's response was firm. "We will fight. Together." Vurak gritted his mandibles. "We stand with you, humans." The battle began with a roar of energy. Beams of light flashed across the void. Missiles streaked through space. and explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. The human and Gorthan fleets moved as one, covering each other's weaknesses. The Titan's Wrath led the charge, its weapons blazing. Vurak's ships circled, protecting the flanks and striking with precision. But the Dominion was not easily defeated. Their ships were fast and deadly, using advanced technology to outmaneuver and outgun their opponents. Several human ships were hit hard. Alarms blared and damage reports flooded in. "Captain, shields are failing on the Eagle Star." The tactical officer warned. Zara's jaw tightened. "Divert power to shields. All hands brace for impact." Meanwhile, Vurak faced his own challenges. Several Gorthan cruisers were caught in Dominion traps, their engines damaged. "We can't hold them much longer," Vurak said grimly. Zara moved beside him. "We have to find their weak point." Back on the Dominion flagship, Zelvar watched the battle unfold with cold calculation. "They fight well," he muttered, "but they lack unity." He ordered his fleet to focus fire on the Titan's Wrath. "If we take out their leader, the rest will fall." The Titan's Wrath shook under heavy fire. Shields flickered but held. Zara's voice rang out clear and strong. "Return fire. Focus on their weapons arrays." The crew worked in perfect sync, firing powerful energy beams that struck the Dominion. Ship's hard dot suddenly, an explosion rocked the Dominion flagship. The ship shuddered violently, then powered down several systems. "Good hit," Hayes said with a smile, but the battle was far from over. Dominion fighters swarmed the human and Gorthan ships, small and fast, difficult to track. The Marines aboard. The Titan's Wrath prepared for boarding actions to stop the attackers. In the midst of the chaos, Zara and Vurak shared a rare moment of calm. "We've learned much," Vurak said, "about strength, about honor. About unity." Zara nodded. "The lesson is clear. Alone, we fall. Together, we survive." As the fight dragged on, the two captains planned a final strike. They would target the Dominion's main weapon, a massive energy cannon capable of destroying entire ships. "Prepare the strike team," Zara ordered. Vurak gathered his best officers to plan the attack. The Titan's Wrath and Gorthan fleet moved in tight formation. The Dominion fired its great cannon, a blazing beam that tore through space. But the human and alien ships dodged with skill. The strike team launched in fast pods, racing toward the Dominion flagship. Inside the Dominion ship, the strike team fought their way through fierce resistance. Blasters fired, alarms screamed, and the air was thick with tension. But the team pushed forward, determined to disable the weapon. At the weapon control room, Zara and Vurak's officers worked quickly to shut down the cannon. "Almost there," Zara said, sweat on her brow. With a final surge, the weapon powered down. Outside, the Dominion fleet faltered. Without its main weapon, their advantage disappeared. The human and Gorthan fleets pressed the attack, driving the Dominion back. The battle ended with the Dominion retreating, their ships disappearing into the void. Cheers broke out on the Titan's Wrath. Zara and Vurak exchanged tired but victorious looks. "This is only the beginning," Zara said. "But today, we learned the true meaning of strength." Vurak nodded, and the cost of underestimating others. The fleets would return to their homes, changed forever by this war. And the galaxy would remember the day when two great powers came face to face and learned to fight as one.